All right, so I entered the position. And what I'm looking for is here's the high, here's the low. You put in a lower low. So I'm looking for this to move up here, above this high. Now it could come back down and then move back up again. That's what I'm looking for. Now the worst case scenario is it needs to take out these lows. If it all of a sudden moves up and then turns around and takes those out, well then I'll have to get out. And I'll be wrong. But right now, it's just a matter of waiting. It's still holding this. Now this tail right here, that could be problematic, but I have to wait for the bar to finish. This was pretty powerful, but it failed to move lower. And here comes this move here. Notice this bar. This would be an important bar to watch. What will happen here? That's important to watch. So if that finishes strong, if this finishes nice solid bar, that'll be positive. But I have to be prepared. I have to be prepared for it to do this. Come all the way back down again. If it does, I have to get out quickly. So while this still trades, I like to look at the other part of the chart. Look at this move. Notice how these bars begin to get bigger and bigger. And then really big. That's why I was looking for this higher low. Because this was a big move. And I'd like to see that this whole move here is exhausted. But time will tell. Ones like this can be difficult, especially on a smaller time frame. Trying to pinpoint the exact low, that can be challenging. Now I'm going to be ready because of this tail and this tail. I should have seen a bar like this. Though it still may be a little weak. But I know where to get out. It's right here. I'll draw that line so I remember. Sometimes if you get a drastic move like this, you have to react quickly. Even if there's a drastic move like this, still have to react quickly. Drastic moves can be difficult to play. There could be a move that moves like that, very high, and then immediately it turns around and moves down even faster. So go through and look at all the tails. There's a tail, another tail. These are all topping tails. They're not that powerful though. This one is a little more powerful. And this bar here is more powerful. But notice nothing happened. Now here is another tail, and this is another tail. But there's no follow through. It should have moved down already. Now what would be ideal is to see a big move up and then small little moves down that stay above this moving average. Now if that happens, that would be positive. Now this is looking like a strong bar. But it still looks like it's struggling, and it is below this moving average. It's staying below it. It needs to move above and hold that moving average. Something similar to this. See how these move up? And it'll hold the moving average until that bar. Oh, here we go. Now this is positive. But remember, it could do this. So I have to be ready. This could happen quickly. You never know. So this took out those highs. And it made a new high right there. So a higher low, a higher high. We'll have to see if it can still hold. So it needs to close above this moving average. That's what I would like to see. Now look at this. It's pretty much trading in a range. See that? And it's coming up into this range. So if I draw a line straight across, draw another line straight across, notice this. Those are pretty close to equal. It's very possible that this happens. So I have to be ready. If I were to draw a line like this, and across, again, it's very possible this could happen. So I have to be ready. I could be wrong. My bias is based on this move here. Let's take that out. Still holding. This green line here, that represents my average price. So every time you see that green line, it represents my average price. And I'm currently long the position, which means I'm hoping it goes up. Now here's a tail. Here's a smaller tail. So I should see a move here. But I'm still prepared for that, just in case. So here's another tail possibly. And notice the bars. 1, 2, 3. 3 tails. So it seems positive. But I have to wait and be prepared. So looking over here, you see this? That was a good setup. But then that was pretty powerful. That gave it away. Now here's another one. Looks like there's a fourth one. But I look at all these tails. Quite a few tails. I'd like to see another bar that looks like this one here. It does this. And seeing these play out in real time makes it easier to recognize the pattern. I find that going back and just looking for something like this, it may be a decent reference, but it's difficult to match them up. When the bars are moving, it's easier. It's easier to get an idea and an understanding of what's actually happening. So that was the low. Here's another low. So that's good. I'd like to see it get above here. And the moving average is curling underneath. It'd be great to see the moving average do this. But it's still pretty slow. With a move like this bar, this should have moved up. I'll keep things clear. So there's still nothing to do. You just have to sit and wait. Now, if I were to look at these moving average crossovers, I don't like these too much. Because by the time that crossover happened, if I were to draw a line straight down, this is where the actual price was. So if that's where the price was, this distance is pretty far. I find those challenging to play. Now the fact that this is moving around the way it is and hasn't moved up, it's not a great sign. But I'll stick with it. I know where to get out. The worst case is I'm wrong and I lose. A bar like this is neutral. Still nothing to do. Just sitting and waiting. I'd like to see that. So another tail. Look at all these tails. A lot of tails. But I do have to be prepared for this to happen. Still nothing to do. And it is above the moving average now. Unless this closes. Now this bar doesn't look too promising. Oh. It's almost there. May have to exit. Oh, need to exit. I lost.